Hi, my name is Bella Carrasco, and helping others feel confident about investing brings a huge smile to my face. After working in the private equity, family office, and securities markets for nearly a decade, I am breaking down the world of money, investing, and financial freedom. Work optionality isn't a dream, it's a decision you make today. I bring you actionable tips, expert interviews, and enlightening strategies to help you get richer and stay that way. This is the How Do You Know podcast. And this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Please consult with a qualified financial professional for advice specific to your situation. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the podcast producers or sponsors. We make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy or completeness of the content. Today, we are chatting with Molly, who is the founder of Woodhull Wellness. Woodhull is a corporate wellness company that provides mindfulness and meditation programming for people and corporations across the world to essentially help employees perform, communicate, and avoid burnout. Molly herself has gotten degrees and verifications from the University of Denver, Duke, Stanford, and Harvard. So, Molly, thank you so much for your time today. It would be helpful to just start with how you would even describe what mindfulness and meditation are.
Totally. Bella, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here. And you are starting with the best question. There's such a misconception around what mindfulness and meditation really are. So mindfulness is a way of being, right? It's a way in which we live our lives in the present moment, not ruminating too much about the past and nervous about the future, but really just the ability to focus on the task at hand without getting taken away by all the other to-do list items on our checklist. Meditation is a practice where we choose to focus on one thing at a time, notice when our mind wanders, and bring our attention back. That is it. In meditation, this practice helps to build our mindfulness muscle, our ability to focus on the task at hand, one thing at a time. Meditation is not the practice of eliminating all thought in our brain, being rendered blank in the mind. It is literally a practice of choosing a focal point, noticing when the mind wanders anywhere else, having that awareness, bringing the attention back. So they both kind of work together to create balance in our body, heart, and mind.
That's perfect. Thank you. I think there's a common misconception that it is stopping all thoughts. So I'm glad that you highlighted that. Nope, it's just noticing it and then bringing it back. And it seems like such a simple thing, but it's so hard.
Totally. In meditation, we say it's simple, but not easy.
There you go.
Our minds are meant to wander, right? They're constantly thinking about the past, so we don't do what we did in the past that might have not been so great again. And we're thinking to the future because we're trying to protect ourselves and make sure that we do our best, in the future. And we're scanning our environment, making sure we're safe. So our brain is going. And our modern world has made it even harder to focus on one thing at a time. Our attention spans are actually getting shorter as of late, which is not really great news. And we are constantly communicating on all different types of platforms, so it's very hard. Our brain is being conditioned to stop focusing on one thing at a time and to try and multitask. Right. However, our brain can't really multitask. We code switch. So we move from one thing to another, but we can't meaningfully focus on more than one thing at a time.
I like what you said about our mind is meant to wander because like you were saying, we're just so go in our society, or we're distracted by different platforms or this or that. We're constantly on. And it's kind of like what we were saying before we started recording. We need almost to schedule time to let our mind wander because it is important, and stress is a silent killer. I've heard countless stories of, oh my gosh, I thought this person was healthy or young and they had a heart attack and unfortunately fell dead, or whatever it might be that was a serious condition. And I think it does stem from underlying stress conditions, and who knows, maybe other things going on. But I do think that stress being that silent killer is something that we should pay more attention to.
Absolutely. And it's so wild to me. There's this term, mind-body connection. That is true. what happens in our mind affects our physical body. But the fact that that term even has to exist is wild to me. We are one being. Our brain, our physical brain, affects our body all the time. It tells us what to do. Our brain is in charge of our bodily functions. Our autonomic nervous system gets things going. Like our breath is part of our autonomic nervous system, but our brain is telling us to breathe, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, what's happening in our mind is affecting our physical body, whether that's, a signal to the brain to take a breath, or if it signals in the brain of stress and anxiety, it's physiologically affecting your body. And so, yes, the mind-body connection is very true. And the way we manage our stress really changes the way we move through the world.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that meditation and mindfulness are for a lot of things. We use them to manage stress, to feel healthy, to seek the joy of being alive, to be present in the moment, and to notice the miracles in the mundane. And honestly, through mindfulness and meditation, we can actually increase our threshold to stress. So Woodhull Wellness, we're not trying to eliminate stress in your life. There are good types of stress. Use stress as a good, healthy amount of stress that encourages you to think more sharply and maybe work a little harder to get things going. So stress is a good thing, but through mindfulness and meditation, we can actually increase our threshold to manage stress and adversity in our everyday life. So then those things that feel tough actually become a little easier, and they feel a little less tough. And then we're better at conquering those hard moments at work or at home.
I want to highlight it's not to eliminate stress, it's just to help manage it better, because some things in life are just inevitable and unavoidable. But just like a muscle in the gym, you frequently work out, you're going to get that muscle stronger. So similar, your brain is a muscle, and so you need to continue to work on those things to help your stress management become stronger and be able to tackle those moments.
100%. And our brain, because of neuroplasticity, this ability that this truth now, this fundamental truth that our brain changes over time. And we used to think that you hit your 30s and you're done. Your brain was done, and it wasn't evolving in positive ways anymore. The truth is, we can actually make positive impacts on our brain chemistry till the day we die.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool. And what we practice and what we do over and over again becomes embedded in neural pathways in the brain.
Yeah.
And so when we practice going from one thing to another, from Instagram to Snapchat to Slack, right? When we're never focused on one thing at a time, we teach our brain literally to go from one thing to another quickly and to never settle in.
Yeah.
When we sit in meditation, we create a new groove that says, oh, I have the internal fortitude to sit here and connect with my breath and be present. And even more so, and even more deeply, which is very interesting, is that every time we sit in meditation, we notice our mind wandering somewhere, wherever it might be, to work, to negative self-talk, to, something exciting that you have going on. Whenever we're sitting in meditation, we notice our mind wandering, we bring it back. That feels tough for the brain. That feels like adversity. And so we notice when the mind wanders, we bring it back, we sit in meditation, and we return, and we build this groove in our brain, this new neural pathway that actually is building resilience to deal with hard things. We become more familiar with doing something hard and then bringing your attention back to where you're meant to be.
That's a beautiful thing. How ideally are we meditating every day, or how much is like the bare minimum would you recommend?
Yeah, such a good question. So when I begin working with people, I always tell them, let's start with one breath. I call this a micro practice. 1 breath to 1 minute of thoughtful breathing is what I call micro meditation. And this physiologically makes a difference in your body, heart, and mind. The most productive breath is breathing in for a count of 5. We can even do it together.
Okay.
You can breathe. Okay, let's try. So you can breathe in for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You hold at the top and exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can try it again on your own, breathing in for a count of 5 at your own pace. holding at the top of the breath and exhaling for 5. Let's try one more time. Breathing in. Hold and out. And then just returning to your natural rhythm of breath, which perhaps now has slowed.
It's amazing how 3 breaths like that can just totally change your trajectory.
Totally. It's wild. That's where I tell people to start. And if we know the difference between mindfulness and meditation, if we know what meditation is, right? Meditation is the practice of focusing on one thing at a time, noticing when the mind wanders and bringing it back. Meditation is that practice, focusing on one thing at a time, noticing when the mind wanders and bringing it back. That means we can do meditation no matter where we are, focusing on anything. It could be focusing on this tea, focusing on the sensation, the aroma, the temperature, just being present with that, noticing when the mind wanders and bringing it back. And it doesn't really matter how long we do it. Consistency is key. So if you can do a micro meditation once a day or a few times a day, then we're increasing our percentage of meditation in our life by a lot. If you start with 20 minutes once a day and your goal is 20 minutes once a day and you haven't built that muscle, it might feel overwhelming. It might be hard to integrate that into your everyday routine. It might not feel very useful. So I say start with your micro practices, and then we can build into other more formal practices. We can integrate moving meditations and EFT tapping and mindful hydration and the physiological side. And there's unlimited tools that we can sort of incorporate.
Yeah, it's almost like crawl before you can walk. Let's take this in bite-sized steps instead of just going full force and all in.
Yeah. And there's space to go, we can have a goal to have our micro practices, and then we can also have a goal to perhaps sit in meditation for 10 or 20 minutes, 5, 10, 20 minutes once a week, and start there.
Right.
And if your mind wanders, God, just notice it, write it down, observe. You're going to learn something from that. Yeah.
Right. Hi, I want to interrupt for a quick second because I am a big believer in emulating off of who you want to be. And I've gone through Christopher's program at Wealth Ops, where he truly gives you the education you need to help you manage wealth like a microfamily office. I encourage you to take a second to read his article or visit his website at wealthops.io. That will be linked as well. Okay, thanks. Back to it. Okay, so I know we've touched on a little bit of this, but is there anything that we haven't covered yet on why should people even care about doing this, and maybe even who are some people that others might know that do use this regularly?
Good question. Okay, so why is meditation important? Why would we want to incorporate these tools? So my first question to you is, as I answer this question, how often do you think your mind wanders on the everyday? What percentage of your waking life is your mind thinking about the past, praying about the future, not in the present moment?
Maybe 50%?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally 47% of your waking life. And this is a study done by Harvard, and there have been multiple studies similar to it through the Berkeley Greater Good Institute. And anyway, the point is that they found that 47% of your waking life, your mind's thinking about the past, nervous about the future, and not in the present moment. And this is directly correlated to your inability to sleep, inability to focus at work, apathy, depression, anxiety. And so we're very unproductive if our minds are wandering 47% of our lives. We're very unaware of it, so we don't even know how to stop it. And it makes us sad and unproductive and uninspired. So if we can incorporate meditation techniques to build this mindfulness muscle, to have better awareness of when our mind wanders somewhere we don't need it to be, we have the internal fortitude to bring it back, we become a lot more productive at work. But we also become a lot healthier and happier. We become better able to sleep and more present with our friends and family and a better listener. And so it really touches every aspect of your life.
Yeah, it's almost like, what are the reasons not to do this?
Literally, that is
Yeah.
totally the question.
And what
So,
if your mind, you just feel like you're so busy, like you can't even focus, or if you get uncomfortable feelings, what advice would you
mm,
give that person?
okay, so 47% of our waking lives are mind wander. 90% of those thoughts are negative and reoccurring.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. So I would say that there is constantly thought there, we're constantly having thoughts. One's in our subconscious and one's in our conscious. And so sometimes thoughts in the subconscious mind are still getting stuck somewhere in there in the net of your thoughts, and you're taking them in, but you're subconsciously taking them. And it could be, you're working on your computer and it's this talk track of like, you're not doing this well enough, you're going to fail, your boss doesn't think you're doing great, you're going to get
Yeah.
fired, this
Feels
is going to be
heavy.
like that. Totally. Exactly. And that's happening in the background all the time. And so when we close our eyes and we notice our mind going everywhere to carrots that we need to get for dinner, to
Mm,
relationships, our family, old relationships that are tough that we're trying to figure out, and the work issues, right?
yeah.
We're thinking about all of that anyway. So when you close your eyes, you become quiet, you actually just begin to notice the thoughts that are existing in the background of your
Oh,
mind
interesting.
all the time.
Mm,
And it gives you the opportunity to let them go if
mm,
they are old thoughts that you've already decided you don't believe in, or to write them down.
yeah,
And because sometimes our thoughts reoccur just because we're trying to remember them. I think our
sure.
brain, anxiety isn't a malicious character. It is just trying to protect us. And so
Mm,
if in your head you're making dinner for your partner's family or a new friend, you want to do really well and you want to make a good impression, and at work
yeah.
you sit down and do your 5-minute meditation in the morning, and you realize that you totally forgot celery and carrots for the soup. And so it's actually taking up space in your mind because you're constantly returning back to that so you don't forget it. So sometimes when those thoughts come up, it means that you can put them on a little list and let them go.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still there, but now you know, like, okay, this old thought about my worthiness, I'm going to let that go because I don't believe that anymore.
Mm,
Release. This thought about the carrots and the celery for the mirepoix is going to go here on my sticky note. Done. And my anxiousness about getting this project done really well, I actually can have a bit of compassion for that because
mm.
this is new and I'm getting outside of my comfort zone and I want to do my best. And so we actually become much more aware of what's going on in the background. And what we gain from that is, I'd say, a sense of agency and choice to manage the way we feel with awareness.
It's almost like rewriting the script or looking at it from a different lens, or maybe this is where manifestation comes in, where, oh, I'm noticing, I'm having these subconscious thoughts, but I'm not really noticing it, to, oh, I'm bringing them to the forefront of my mind, but how do I not let them weigh me down? How can I, like I was saying, reframe it? And so that in the future, now I can become a happier, healthier, better Bella.
Bingo. Yes, 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 yes. Today, this morning, I taught a meditation, and we were doing this technique called the RAIN technique, which is recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. So we think about mindfulness and meditation. A lot of the time, it's for stress management, combating burnout, creating healthy um, communication strategies under stress. All that, which is very important. It's also about seeking the joy of being alive, noticing the miracles in the mundane. Another reason we meditate is to become aware of our emotions, those sticky feelings that we all have, and perhaps change our relationship to them. So I've been feeling a tightness and tension in my chest recently. I sat with this rain meditation and I recognize that feeling. I
Mm,
recognize it and I just allow it to be there. And as I allowed it to be there, I noticed that tightness and tension might be fear. And I allow it to be there. I don't run away. I don't make any conclusions.
mm,
And as I sit there and allow it to be present, it actually becomes less scary because it becomes more clear. And then I investigate. I think, is this big? Is this small? Is this new? Is this old? And I realized that some of that fear was old negative self-talk I don't believe anymore. But some of the fear was because I was stepping into the unknown in a lot of places in my life. And so recognize, allow, investigate, and then we nurture. So I could bring in a nurturing, self-compassionate breath, ease all my pain and suffering, and on the exhale, a sense of release, letting go of any tightness and tension that I need to let go of in the body, heart, and mind. And what happened was I was able to cultivate compassion for this feeling of fear, knowing that like stepping into the unknown is scary. And so it's okay that I feel a little fear. But some of that fear was old, and I don't actually believe it anymore. So I can let it go. So I was left feeling like this feeling was a lot less mysterious, a lot less scary, and smaller now that I could let go of part of it. So, I don't know why I mentioned that, but I was just sort of saying something I taught this morning.
No. I think that addresses what I was asking perfectly. And I also want to, again, underline bold the comment of don't sweep it under the rug. You notice it, but don't run away from it. Let's face it head on and find what is the cause and what is the solution. And it might take a little bit of time to do that, but you'll be better off afterwards.
100%. You're so wise, Bella. Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you also work with executives. So what are common issues you see with some of those high performers?
Oh, man. Yeah. Great question. High performers go. And sometimes they actually think that taking a moment to take a break is not productive. It's not moving forward. But we really need to slow down to speed up, to Jim's quick phrase. But we need to slow down to speed up. We need to become aware of what's going on, check in with ourselves, understand how we're feeling for the day, for example, before we go into work and talk to our peers and be a leader. Because if you're feeling agitated or you're not very clear on what you need for the day, how are you possibly going to communicate that to your team? And so I would say slowing down to speed up is really important. Remembering that taking that break actually helps you move forward with clarity and purpose. And then we're more productive. We do the right thing the first time, instead of going frantically, trying to get it all done, burning out, becoming too tired, not feeling clear in your head logically. Literally our breath, as we draw that deep belly breath down, it helps bring oxygen into the body and into the brain so we can think clearly and communicate effectively. Another thing is that leaders and CEOs and high performers who start their own thing or are leading groups often expect others to be as gung-ho as they are about their goals. But unless your team has buy-in or feels cared for, it's really hard for them to feel as driven as you do, perhaps.
Sure.
So creating and cultivating an environment where people can ask questions and take a break when they need to and reflect on their own mental health and well-being so that they can ask for help instead of getting to a place that feels, very burdensome and unfixable is really important as a leader. So if you're a peak performer and you feel like you don't need this, I would urge you to rethink. But if the success of your organization and the people around you and your employees and your peers are more motivating for you to think about, then I would say create a culture of reflection, mindfulness, and meditation for them so that they can be their best and they feel comfortable and safe taking a moment during the day. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And along those similar lines, I feel like a lot of these types can also have a hard time shutting off their brain, especially when we're supposed to be resting, aka in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So when someone's brain just cannot shut off, what are some techniques people can use during that struggle?
Totally. Okay, so I would say creating a healthy evening routine is important. So not being on your email in your bed before you fall asleep, perhaps giving a little bit of time and rest between technology and your sleep. A healthy diet, water, all those things I think are underappreciated, but very important. Secondly, in terms of sort of mindfulness and meditation techniques, if you do a brain dump before bed, like if you have a lot of things on your mind and you keep like a little post-it note next to your bed and you're going, and you write all those things down, I think that can be really helpful for people who ruminate in the night.
Yeah.
Even doing that, I actually recommend people do that as you close out your day. So if there are 3 things that you didn't get to at the end of your day, you put them there on your post-it note, and they're the first 3 things you do when you get to your computer in the morning. Really helpful. But I would say 2 other things: moving meditations, or sensation-based meditation. So putting a hand on the heart and a hand on the belly and feeling the motion of the breath, or doing a body scan. So getting out of the thinking mind and having the focal point of the meditation be in the physical body. So we have our monkey mind, our physical mind, our thinking mind. And so if we can move our awareness from that to the physical body and sensation, it can often help. Also, relaxing the physical body can often relax the mind. So body scans, feeling into the motion and movement of the breath is a very good idea. Having a post-it note, writing it down before bed, perhaps having it there if you do wake up, and writing it down on that post-it note, not your phone. Your phone carries a lot of emotional baggage. So, and it's addictive. So if we're getting up and we're writing a note on our phone, it's often more distracting, and then the light wakes us up. Bad news. So a post-it note, old-fashioned. And lastly, I could go for days, but binaural beats. Binaural beats are a really cool tool. Bella, I feel like you know about this. Perhaps you spoke about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So for those who don't know, binaural beats are when 2 tones play simultaneously to create a 3rd tone. This 3rd tone connects to different wavelengths in the brain. So there are binaural beats that connect to wavelengths in the brain that encourage sleep.
I'm a strong believer in that one. I've used it a couple of times.
Nice. Yeah, so you can just kind of a little biohack to sleep. You can turn on some binaural beats and force your brain into a sleepy state.
Super easy to just Google or search on Spotify.
Exactly. Yeah, they're everywhere.
Well, earlier we were talking about these little micro meditation sessions. Is that where you usually start when you're working with someone?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would say micro practices are, my company provides access to online programming. So we have 12 part online courses. We have 3 of them. And one of them is called micro practices. It's 12 different micro practices. So mindful hydration, physiological sigh, most productive breath, And so I think that's a really great place for people to start, because it really means we start with the foundations, that we're encouraging 1 breath to 1 minute of simple breathing. We're just really incorporating an awareness of the breath, and tools that you can use before or after a meeting, perhaps even during one. So yeah, I think that's a really accessible place. Perfect. And all of those tools can be extended. So whatever I teach you, you can do in a minute can be done for 10 hours. Sure. So you can go however long you like.
And I'm glad that you did bring up your website and your company. So just a brief history lesson. Why did you start Health House, and who are the types of people you work with?
I started my company in 2017, and Woodhull Wellness provides mindfulness, meditation, and realistic self-care programming to people and corporations internationally. We work with teams of all sizes, and we really can work both virtually and in person. So when people ask me who we work with, I just say we work with companies who care about their employees. And we're all really about realistic self-care. So mindfulness and meditation are hip, cool words, and things that people are interested in. But Woodhull Wellness is really about helping people find realistic and meaningful ways to integrate these tools into their everyday lives. Through access to online programming, and then through that online programming, we support that online learning with virtual real-time coaching. We can scale our support sort of as big or as small as the company needs. So we can provide one-on-one office hours. We can provide in-person or virtual coaching. And really cool, we can track the participation in the back end of our online courses so that we can increase participation, provide incentives to participate, and even really connect with all different types of learners. And gosh, before that, I worked in wilderness therapy. I worked in spinal cord injury recovery through adaptive yoga. I led wellness trips and canoe trips across the world. And I dealt with Lyme's disease. I always knew that I wanted to be in the health and wellness industry. So I ended up studying through the compassion cultivation program at Stanford. And after that, I got referred to a program at Duke. And then the women who started the Core Mindfulness Institute at Duke University, which I think is just the Core Mindfulness Institute now, asked me to stay on and sort of help them build the Mindfulness Institute. And so I had my hands in a lot of different parts of the equation, which was very illuminating for me and helped give me some foundational knowledge to kind of create my own thing.
Long story short, you know what you're doing. You've been doing it for a long time, and sounds like you have amazing experiences that I need to ask about further some other time. But that's awesome.
Anytime I'm here anytime to chat. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I want to end with just quick fire round 3 questions. First one, what's one book or podcast that has stuck out to you the most?
I love, The Alchemist is an amazing book. That's what came to me in terms of podcasts. I really love Tara Brach, and she has a podcast. I forget the name of it, but if you type in Tara Brach, you'll she's really she actually is the one who made Rain the meditation, and she's a genius. And this is lightning, so I should stop talking.
No, this is great because what is The Alchemist about? Is that just more of a mindfulness book?
It's a story about a young person who is on an exploration to find what they're truly meant to do. And
fun. Okay.
It's about how the universe will meet you where you need it to. If you put your energy out there and you work towards the things that you wish to do, and if you keep working hard and you keep moving forward towards your goal, the universe will provide you with the opportunity for success. It's really inspiring.
Yeah. Okay. Gonna add that one to the list.
Yeah.
Second question, favorite restaurant? Well, that's good.
Yeah. Favorite restaurant. Oh, I love small restaurants. I would say my favorite restaurant in Denver is, this is really hard.
I know it is a hard question. Or just like the first one that pops into your mind.
Well, I was thinking of Alma Fondafina or whatever. My God.
That is a good one. So good.
Oh my God.
Hard to get into, but I went at 9 p.m. and I thought it was worth it.
Oh my God, it's totally worth it. I went before I got a Michelin star.
Oh, nice.
And I walked in. I literally walked in.
Oh my gosh, you timed that well. Last question, favorite piece of media you use to stay up to date on the news?
I use podcasts.
Yeah.
I think I'm a listener. So I go for a walk and I listen to the news. And so I try and relax my nervous system in nature walking while I listen to things that are a little bit anxiety provoking.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Molly. Why and how should people reach out to you?
My gosh, people should reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I'm popping off over there, Woodhull Wellness or Molly Woodhull. You can reach out to me on my website, woodhullwellness.com. You could find me on Instagram, Woodhull Wellness. If you have any curiosity about incorporating mental health and well-being into your company, if you feel overwhelmed and burned out and you just need help, I'm a great place to start. If you're curious about starting a meditation practice for yourself, let me know. So I'm really a resource for realistic self-care and mental health and well-being.
Well, I know I've learned a lot from you. So I hope other people have been enlightened as to why mindfulness and meditation should be a part of their daily programming. And I just even feel like this whole time we've been talking, you just have like this calm presence and your voice is just perfect for this. So I hope that people find it useful.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Until next time. Adios.
Adios.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you found any value and want to support the podcast, I would be forever grateful if you texted someone the link. You can say that you have a podcast episode that may be interesting for them. Also, if you have questions or topics you want covered, please don't hesitate to reach out on LinkedIn or Instagram. Remember that every step makes a difference. I hope that you continue to learn how to get richer and stay that way.